Hey, this is Dave Thomas III, your relationship coach here at Faked Out by Love. You know, one of the best friends that you will ever have in a relationship, believe it or not, are patterns. And I don't mean your patterns. I'm talking about the patterns in your mate or in the other person that you're involved in. Because you see, the patterns are what paint a very accurate picture in so many respects of what you're dealing with in that individual. They let you know what you can expect from them going down the road. For example, if somebody has a pattern of saying, I'm going to be there at 9 o'clock to pick you up, and every time 9 o'clock rolls around, half hour, 45 minutes later, they're not there, that becomes a pattern. A succession of events like this in the same type of condition become patterns. They start to let you know what you can expect from that person going forward. So from now on, either A, don't go anywhere with them, or B, just expect that if they tell you they're going to be there at 10, they might be there at 11, 11:30. Common thing, or a common example of what I mean by patterns. But patterns also tell you of more of the very serious aspects of a relationship and what you can expect out of that person. If a person is abusive, either verbally, emotionally, or physically, and they do this, even if they only do this, let's say once, then a few months later do it again, then a few months later do it again. It doesn't have to be events in rapid succession. They can be spread out, but you know that going down the road, there's a really good chance that this is the kind of behavior you're going to see from that person. That pattern is giving you a view of what you can expect in the future. And you really need to pay attention to that view, because without that view, it's you're going to just get yourself in trouble if you ignore it, because that is going to be your profit. That view, those patterns, they're going to be the predictors. They're going to tell you not only what you can expect, but they're going to also tell you how much this person really cares about you. They're also going to tell you how much respect this person actually has for you. Even if a person speaks with their mouth and tells you how much they love you and how much they respect you and they want to honor you, if their actions, and from a standpoint of patterns, don't back up what they're saying, then the only thing that you have left to pay attention to are the actions in their patterns. Go back to the patterns. They're like breadcrumbs on a trail, or breadcrumbs in the woods, telling you which way you're going, telling you which direction you're headed in. Pay very close attention, because this is so many women especially, and guys do it too. I ain't just picking on the ladies, but so many people do this. They're so enamored with a person, and a lot of times, I'm going to be honest about it, they're so desperate to have this other person love them that they will ignore the obvious patterns. And to be quite frank about it, a lot of times, if a person looks back into their own lives, in terms of how they were raised, in terms of how they were inculcated, and what constitutes a good or healthy relationship and what doesn't, they will also see patterns in their own history that kind of sets them on the road to where they are now, if they're the type of people who will ignore someone's actions, their repeated actions, that they somehow, they're just not trying to see it. They're ignoring it, and it's costing them a lot. It's costing them a lot in terms of their financial resources, in terms of their mental health, in terms of their emotional health, in terms of their physical health. They're losing so much because that very best friend that they've got in a relationship is not the best friend they have, but it's one of the top three easily. But that best friend that they have in a relationship is telling them, listen to me. This is what's going on. I am the patterns that you need to pay attention to. Listen to me. Listen to me. And they're not hearing it. You're looking at a guy right now who did the same thing. I would see the same patterns over and over again. I remember one time I started going out with this one girl, and she showed me some very negative patterns, especially one particular thing that she did in the very beginning of the relationship, and I ignored the patterns and wound up staying with this girl for 2.5 years and got my butt kicked in that relationship, because I deliberately ignored the patterns. So take it from me. When you start seeing the patterns in a person's actions, that's really who they are. Don't try to downplay it in your mind or try to make excuses for it, because excuses lead to abuses, as I like to say. But see it for what it is and trust the patterns, because you see, the patterns are you see them in people's actions, but those actions are driven from something deep within that person. This isn't just their hands just randomly doing things, or their mouth just randomly saying things. Those patterns are generated from the core of that individual and tells you who they are, despite what their mouth might say to you. Their mouth will tell you that they're a wonderful person. Even sometimes the things they do for you are can be really nice, but the overall overriding patterns tells you exactly what you have in that individual. Well, again, my name is Dave Thomas III. I'm your relationship coach here at Faked Out by Love. If you like this video, go ahead on and pop the like button at the bottom. Hit share and send it to your friends. Share the love with them. And also, be sure to leave a number of comments at the bottom. I'm always happy to get comments, whether they're negative, whether they're positive. I'm always happy to get them and respond to them. Have a great day.